Welcome to the Trick Shift Garage. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to change the transmission fluid and filter for GM 6L80 transmission. And we're going to be using my 2015 Chevrolet Silverado here as our example. So let's go ahead and get started. First step you want to do is park your car the night before, and that way everything is nice and cool. I parked it up on ramps here. Okay, that way you don't have to worry about any hot transmission fluid or anything getting on you while we go through this, because it's probably going to be a little bit messy. So this is the stuff that I'm going to be using. I'm going to go with just the regular AC Delco Dextron 6 automatic transmission fluid. You're going to need a total of 6 quarts, and I just bought 2 gallons worth, which is 8 quarts, so I'll have a little bit left over for next time. You're going to need a new filter here. Okay, this is also AC Delco. These are all the factory parts, and you're also going to need this new washer that's going to basically go on top here inside the transmission. And I got new bolts. These are from ICT Billet. These are brand new bolts for the 6L80 transmission. I noticed when I was down there checking mine out that it was actually missing a bolt. For the transmission fluid, I'm going to try to use this transfer pump. I'm going to try to siphon it from the transmission dipstick tube. All right, let's go ahead and get started. First step you want to do is remove the dipstick, and all you got to do is basically pull this little tab out, and then transmission dipstick comes out. All right, so I messed around with this siphon pump. I think I have a solution. I found this clear vinyl tubing, and it's a 1/4 inch outer diameter. First thing I gotta do is put this cap. This is the thing that actually locks it to this thing. So then the next step would be to take this hose and push it in. It's nice and snug, it's a tight fit. And then at this point, I think if I just do this and then put this cap on, this will make it nice and sealed. This side is what you want to go like this, okay? This bigger end is gonna basically, once I put the hose in, it's gonna slide over that fitting like so. Let's go ahead and try it out. Here it comes. This is getting the job done. It is pulling it out, so just gonna keep pumping at this point, and then I'll come back when it's done. All right, so I got the pumping. Looks like I got just under 4 quarts. There should be like at least 2 more quarts in there. I accidentally had my hand in the wrong spot, and this thing popped out on me, and it went everywhere. I still made a mess, but at least it's not that messy. All right, so now we're underneath the truck. First step I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take off this heat shield. Once I have the pan loosened, this heat shield, like this lip of the heat shield, is gonna get in my way a little bit. Because the exhaust is here, thanks GM, and you know, it's tight quarters around it, this will give me a little bit more leeway basically. So I'm gonna start here. And that's the bolt, just a little 10mm. The other one is up here a little bit, not too bad. Make sure you hold the heat shield. Okay, here's the bolt, same size as the other one. And then the heat shield should just come out. So before I actually loosen the bolts, I'm just gonna show you my setup down here. I got cardboard as far as the eye can see. I got these nice absorbent mats. What I'm gonna do is try to center the actual drain pan underneath. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and loosen up all 18 bolts. I'm going to leave this one and this one. These 2 I'm going to leave behind. Everything else got to go. Here we are, the moment of truth. I'm going to take off my electric ratchet and just loosen it gently. Oh, yeah, it's already loose. As you can see, here it comes. Okay, so this is the part where you just keep your arm out of reach and just slowly loosen the bolt here. Okay, and just keep checking your pan, make sure your drain pan is still underneath all the waterfall of fluid. Now, if you didn't extract the fluid from the transmission dipstick tube, you're going to have probably a much bigger mess on your hands because you have all 6 quarts. Like I said, this one And here should be about 2 quarts left. So very anticlimactic, which is good when you're actually working on it. So I'm just going to keep loosening it. Now, once this bolt comes out, the only thing keeping the pan from dropping really is the bolts on the other end. Okay. You can see how more is flowing out. I think it's okay now. I'll just take this bolt out. So we're just gonna loosen these up some more. And you see how when I loosen the bolt, it allows the pan to drop further. This is kind of the trick to dropping the transmission fluid pan is you want to go slow and gradual. You don't want a sudden drop because that's when things go sideways really quick. All right, so you want to go gradual, easy. See how I'm loosening it and the pan's just dropping down more? Kind of like so. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to take off one of these bolts. All right, so at this point, it looks like most of it's drained that I could drain from this side. There's still fluid in this pan, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one of these bolts, actually, and I'm gonna put it back on the opposite side where it was just at. And then I'm gonna loosen this bolt and allow the pan to drop this way, and maybe I'll get some more fluid. And so I'm holding the pan, and I'm just gonna loosen the bolt all the way. There shouldn't be nothing immediately coming out. Actually, oh, there we go. So I'm just going to ease it back. Oh no, nothing came. Okay. What I'm going to do is put my hand up here and kind of hold it back. And take out the last bolt here. Now, this is when things can go sideways quick because, like I said, it's a very delicate situation. Okay, so what I'm going to do is slide it over this way. Okay. And I'm going to kind of just rotate it around and drop it down. Okay. Get my gasket out of here. And that's all there is to it, folks. You don't have to move the exhaust. You don't have to move any brackets. You don't have to use anything except just move this little heat shield, 2 bolts there I showed you in the beginning, and the pan should come right out. At this point, you just need to grab the filter. Make sure you still got the drain pan right underneath because this could be messy as well. There's fluid inside. And you just want to gently rock it and finagle it out. Okay, here's the fluid right there. And just drop it in the pan. Before we go any further, we have to go ahead and grab that little gasket that's inside of here. What I'm going to do is use a flathead screwdriver and kind of bend this in, this middle part, bend it in so that way I can create an opening to use needle nose pliers then to just pull it out. And you just want to be careful not to damage the actual aluminum that it's sitting in. So I'm just going to go gentle, go slow, and just try to bend it in. Might just have to get a big boy out here. Oh, might be getting somewhere. There we go. And just kind of keep bending it like so. Just want to be very deliberate. I'm going to use my little tiny screwdriver and I'm going to just tap it in, and I'm not going to try to pry too much. I just want to bend it. Get a good enough bite with the needle nose pliers, it comes out. Okay. So, a little bit of finagling. You see how he tore us up. You just gotta stay focused, okay? It's a little bit, I know it's a little bit scary taking a screwdriver and hammer to the transmission. Time to go clean up the transmission pan. Alright, looks like about 8 quarts. So, here's the bottom of my pan. Mine's got fine particulate matters. It's all covered in fine particulates there. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and pull out the magnet. All right, no big pieces, no big shrapnel. I'm just kind of feeling around for it. That's a good thing. What we have to do at this point is basically clean up the pan, clean up the magnet, and just want to use a bunch of rags and towels and just do what you can and clean it all out like so. All right, and then just going to use some brake clean here. Roll it down. All right, this looks good. Nice and clean. Last, we're going to go ahead and clean the magnet. Same thing. Brake clean it. Oop. And just keep wiping until it looks like you got it all off. All right, so at this point, the magnet is going to go right here at this like triangular looking thing. It's raised up from the bottom of the pan to give room underneath the magnet so particulates can slide up underneath as well. This gasket is in pretty good shape. This is the one that just came off. I would recommend you replace the gasket, but these are reusable. There's a steel band inside of the rubber. So this feels pretty good. It's still actually in pretty decent shape, but I went ahead and got me a new one. All right, and here's the GM part number right there. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and open it up and just look it over. And what we gotta do, we're just gonna line this up and make sure that it is correct. All right, so I'm looking at these guys here. This one looks like it's the right one. All the holes are matching up. Okay, so we're good. Here is the transmission filter, and as you can see, it's an AC Delco part. I'll have the part number in the link for where you can get this in the description below. But this one looks in good shape, and this is going to be the new gasket. Okay, we're going to just wet it with some transmission fluid first around the rubber seals. Okay, and then we're just going to push it back in there. Let's go ahead and put this on first, then we'll put the filter back on, and then lastly we'll put the transmission pan back. All right, so we got our new gasket, and I'm just going to put some transmission fluid all around it. All right, just soak it in fluid. All right, this is good. All right, so now we can go ahead and put this in. Oh, there it goes. All the way across the other side. All right, so what I got here is I got a 15/16 inch socket. All right, and I just flipped it around. What I'm going to use it as is basically a push tool to hopefully push it in nice and straight. Let's see if I can do this. Okay. Push it in. Hammer time. All right, so we got it in there relatively straight, and all you gotta do is just tap it in. Just tap it in. All right, and look in there. Yep, she's in. Oh yeah, we're looking good. Let me show you guys. She's going to be flush right with that aluminum that you see that she's attached to, okay? There should be no gaps in between. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and install the filter. Now, here's the filter. Now, all you got to do is basically push it straight up into that gasket, okay? And then this will just basically snap into place. All right, so I'm just going to line it up, and you want to kind of push it up evenly. Like that. Okay, and that's pretty much it. All right, just make sure it's, you know, straight across. So we're looking good. So at this point, we'll go ahead and clean up. We'll clean up around the transmission casing here, just make sure that there's no debris or anything. And then once we do that, then we can go ahead and put the pan back on. I like to spray on my rag and then wipe. You just want to make sure you got a nice clean surface so that way you can put the new gasket and pan back on. Alright, so here's the old bolts, and you could obviously clean these up and reuse them, but I'm going to go ahead and upgrade to ICT billet bolts. Okay, these are for the 6L80, looks like 8L90, 10L80E. So there should be 18 bolts here. I'm going to go ahead, get them out. These look like they're a different size head. So this is an 8mm head for these ICT billet bolts. And if you're using the original bolts that came from the factory, you're going to just keep using your 10mm. Anyway, let's go ahead and put the pan back on. You want to keep the gasket on the pan. Alright, we're just going to slowly, basically got to work our way back on like we did getting it off. Okay, so probably going to be a little bit tight, but should be alright. There we go. Alright, so okay, the gasket came off. That's okay. We can just use these little guides, like right there. You see how that one's going in? Okay, and then we can at least get the other side lined up. Check that. Okay, yep, that one's in. Okay, so at this point we just go ahead and put it on carefully. Okay, that looks like it's lined up. Check this side. Not quite. Okay, there. Okay, so now we're home. You know, just gonna grab a couple bolts and get them in there so I don't have to hold this pan up as much any longer. Okay, that one's in. Get one more. I'll just go on the opposite side here. Alright, so now the pan's back on, and what I'm going to do at this point is just put all the bolts back on, okay, and I'm just going to hand tighten it for now. We got all the bolts snug in. Alright, looking good. At this point, we're going to go ahead and torque all these bolts down. The torque specification is 80 inch-pounds, and I didn't really see a pattern per se, but I'm going to kind of start here and then go like opposite, and then kind of just like go around like in like such a pattern like this. That way it's kind of evenly distributed as I torque it down. 80 inch-pounds. Okay. So last but not least, we gotta go ahead and put our heat shield back on. I don't know if it really did help much with getting the pan off. You know, if you took your pan off and say you left this on, let me know how it worked out, because I'm definitely interested if this was really necessary. I think it was, but I could be wrong. I'm gonna do one last spray down with brake clean and just make sure. You want everything to be nice and dry, so that way when you're done you put it back. If you see anything that's dripping or wet, you know that's not a good sign, and you're not confusing it with just leftover fluid. Okay, so we're done down here. At this point we just got to go up top, add our transmission fluid, and we're good to go. Alright, so as you can see, I got exactly 8 quarts out of the transmission, but for a filter and fluid change, just by dropping the pan, it calls for 6 quarts. Alright, so what I'm going to do is put 6 quarts in it, and then lower the truck down off the ramps here, and then check the fluid level with the dipstick and just see where I'm at. I might have to add another quart. Maybe I need to add 2 quarts. I got 2 gallons here, or 8 quarts of the Dextron 6 automatic transmission fluid. That's what these 6L80, 6L90s, these transmissions call for. Go ahead, we're gonna pour 4 quarts right in. With the second jug, I'm going to use this little indicator here that AC Delco put on the side. I need to get to about here. Okay, about right around 3 quarts, so about 1 more quart to go. Okay, we're about 2 quarts. I'm going to cap it off, start it up, and get it up to operating temperature, and then go ahead and check the level. Alright, so I went for a test drive. You got to get the transmission temperature up to 160 degrees, and before you check the fluid, you want to shift through all the gears, wait like 2 or 3 seconds, and then you can check the dipstick. First time to take it out, you want to wipe it off. Alright, we're going to go ahead and put it back in. Wait like 3 seconds. As you can see here, you can see the fluid level is definitely low. You can see it's like way down here by my thumb. And it's not even in the cold area. And hot, it's supposed to be between these two holes in the hatch mark area. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the full 2 quarts in and then check it again. And let's see what we got. Alright, and as you can see now, it's in the cross hatch. It's right at the H of hot. So we're good to go. We're in the right range now. So I really did lose 8 quarts. Interesting. So I think what happened was I extracted the fluid and then I had to leave the truck for a few days. So maybe some fluid drained out of the torque converter as well, or make sure whatever you get out you put back in. I put 8 quarts in now, so it seems to be in the right area. As far as this video, that's it. Thanks for watching. If you like our work, go ahead, hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell for more Trick Shift Garage videos, and we'll see you on the next one.